And I just want to touch on, you mentioned about how you brought the likes of Lucas Lepri and the camps over. I've been to a few of them. I've been to the Lucas Lepri, Jon Thomas and Espen one, and they are phenomenal. I've added all the techniques that I was shown into my game and was able to like have a lot of people in the gym puzzled about a few of those techniques. So what I'd like to know is, where did the idea of bringing these world-class competitors and instructors over to Sligo for these camps?
Yeah, so when we joined the Alliance Association back in 2011, one of the parts of our agreement with Alliance was to bring someone over once per year, at least once per year. And so 2011, we were like, okay, Bruno Malfacini was available, so we brought him over, and he came over for almost 2 weeks. And so that was our main reason, but it was part of what we wanted as well, as much as it was an agreement between the association. But that was what was the selling point for us, was that we were able to bring the guy over for that length of time, not just a seminar, not just a weekend, but it was 2 weeks with the best of the best in the world. And it's like Bruno and the guys that would stay with me at the house. So I would also like just try to get as much information about every sort of thing as you can imagine out of the guys, and so I'd be quizzing them up night, noon and morning about everything, about matches, about things they did in matches, about training, about conditioning, nutrition, you name it. I was just asking everything to them, so they were getting tired of doing, oh, all right, I need to go to bed. So that was how the camp started. Then it was part of it, but then we really enjoyed it. It started really picking up over the years as well, and a lot of people travelled from not just around Ireland but all over Europe as well, came to Sligo for the camps. There's some great people like that were blue belts came here, and now are really, really impressive black belts, that came to the camps back in the day. So it has a great history, and we learned so much from those camps. And part of that was the guys that came as well, like a lot of really good guys from around the country that we got to come to Sligo, and we got great training with them too, as much as the world champions that we got. So it was a great interaction. We made great friends, and so much good came out of those times as well. We hope to continue that on for many more years as well.
100%. And when you are selecting these instructors to come over, is it based on maybe they have a technique style that you want to learn more about? Maybe you're curious about learning their techniques that they've used to win world championships, or have you a certain criteria that you're looking for?
Yeah, it could, on my part, it's probably a bit selfish, and I just look at the guys that I look up to. I says, yeah, that's the fella I want. And like at my competitive weight was like, I was coming around 61, 62 kilos. So I wanted to learn from lighter guys, So we rarely had brought someone heavyweight. I don't think we ever had a heavyweight here. Like, I think Isaac Behance was probably the heaviest person we brought in, was a middleweight. So typically we get someone on the lighter end of the spectrum. And that was kind of, in some ways, for my benefit as well. I wanted to learn from the guys in that weight class. And most of the like myself and Morgan, be the lighter side. But in looking back, there is a couple of the heavier weights that we would like to get over, but just didn't get the opportunity. Didn't work out. But that was probably one of the main criteria. And then the game, like looking back to Michael Lange, was the Spider Guard specialist of the day, and I loved that game and learned a ton of that game off him. And then Lucas Lepri, of course, was just like a machine, passing everyone like every sort of way. So good. Like, that camp was one of the best camps ever. It was so good, of his ability to shut people down and just control the role, where once he got a certain inch on you, like, it was almost over at that point, and you hadn't even been passed yet. So it was fantastic. And of course, we had Lucas back in January then as well, and he's only got even better since then. He'd won his first world title. He won the first one when his first year of black belt, and he didn't win for a few years then. And he won again in 2014, just when he came to us that year. And then I think he'd won another 4 titles after that. I could be wrong on the numbers, but he'd won some world championships without getting a point scored on. And you could see how he could do it because he's so good. And he's kind of well known for a passer, but he's so good on the bottom as well, and good in every area. And he was one guy I looked up to a lot. We met him in Atlanta in 2011, and Lucas was good standing, he was good on his back, and he was good passing. He was good in all the domains, where some of the other guys were more specialist guard players. So I thought that was amazing with Lucas. So we had to get him over that time. We brought him back then again in January, and he did gi and no gi as well. So his no gi game is actually fantastic as well. Like you seen, we were talking about Lachlan Giles when he went up at the ADCC, and he says, how did you defend the false reap? He says, I don't know, I just don't like people getting on my legs. So he's like, his game is so tight and so good, and a real pleasure to train with him. Definitely, if anyone gets the opportunity, it's well worth it. Like Cobrinha, another phenom, like totally high level, super strong and super athletic and flexible, and skill level is off the charts. Was a great pleasure to train with him too. And then we'd brought in Jon Thomas then in 2019. And that was a fantastic camp for me. Like I'd met Jon in Atlanta back in 2011. And I think Jon was a brown belt world champion, the adult level at that time. Had just won it. And we could see him in the gym just throwing fellas around the place with his spider guard, and, just really good. So got in touch with Jon then, because he kind of... I'd lost touch with him, and then he came up and he was on set up YouTube, and he'd been going well on that, and I'd seen some of his stuff. I thought, wow, need to get Jon over. Some of that stuff is fantastic. So I brought Jon in, and Jon likes a lot of double sleeve, as he calls it, spider guard, and I love that game as well. I play a lot of that, so I was thinking, well, we'll get Jon in, and he totally changed my approach to it. Like, I was playing that for years. I was already a black belt at that time, but Jon, his approach to the whole game as well is off the charts. Like, he's such a great thinker, a great mind, how he analyzes things and breaks it down. And as far as kind of a jiu-jitsu genius, I'd say Jon is like way up there. It's the level he's performing at, and the skill that he has, and the way he can break down people's games. Very rarely have I seen anything like that. It's fantastic. Big change it made for me. Huge changes on all positions, and not just the guard, where he's more well known for it, but his passing is ridiculously good. His escapes, his pins, everything. So that was a great experience as well.